Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 with this brilliant blitzkrieg into France. One thing, it may not quite be that brilliant, but one thing that is, I don't know if lucky or whatnot, but we have the BEF trapped deep into France. So if we can pull this off and take Paris, I think France will surrender at the end of the turn. I think. So let's see if we can make that happen. We're going to, I know they have anti-air here. Oh, too far away for you. So you, we're going to save that. There we go. We'll start with you to land losses of 1. We're at 7-2, now they're at 6-2. And they're too far away as well. Okay, and yes, I know, forget who, sorry. Move the Air Force up, but the Air Force had been useful where it was. And we had moved some up. Okay, another one down. More, but 2 losses, yes, I know, and another loss here. 2 other anti-aircraft guns, or too far back for you. Oh, yes, good. There we go. Air loss. Another air loss. More air losses. That has not been overly successful. Oh. Okay, we have a 2-to-1 advantage. And that pushed them out of Paris. I'm surprised it was that easy to push them out of Paris. Let's move you up into Paris again. Just sort of thinking about the benefits, because maybe we want to move these guys deeper in. Now, because I think we will end this turn with taking France, but I still, well, it's a combination, maybe a little bit, I don't know, OCD isn't the right term, but just maybe desiring to do sort of complete work on things. Also a little bit on trying to get experience for these units. Okay, that will fully take up that movement. They will have 1 attack available to them. 2-to-1, but what we can do is come back here and use this air power. This unit has anti-tank enhancements. Since we're not really attacking it with too many tanks, or any tanks at all, I don't know that it may still do her some good. Okay, that. Well, not so great, but I can't keep really pushing on that. Effectively, at least. Now, I wish I could attack there. Paratroopers must be in supply, yeah. We're not trying to parachute you anywhere. Okay, let's see if we can do an airstrike here. Nope, too far away. Let's move up some HQs. too far out. But yeah, not for them. Should have done that first, of course. Now we're at 3-1 instead of 2-1. Okay, well, didn't quite take them down where we wanted them to go. I just don't want them to think they can, like, escape, hopefully. Okay, now this is meant to be, let's see if we can do this as a 3-2, get that, 2-1, we'll do 2-1 with the armor. 2-1 with just the infantry. Okay, yeah. 1-2. I think we're going to end that push there. Well, swap these guys out, maybe. Yeah, I think that is just not necessary. Yeah, mostly that just being me doing not necessary things. Okay, now on a little bit more necessary element. Oh, come on. That's a good path. Now to come down here. So we'll start next turn here, basically. Took all of the movement points. So just so that you understand the way the mechanics work. It has, and we can come and look at this submarine unit here that still needs to, it can operate at this strength, but I'm letting it heal up. It has 2 action points, the 2 black dots. It needs to spend an action point on a convoy route to do damage to the convoy route. So since I took 2 action points getting there, it's basically that's all the travel time, and now it's there. It hasn't had time to hunt or wait, however you want to look at it, for convoys. So that'll be next turn. But instead of taking 1 turn to get up there, and then, yes, 1 action point to get to the convoy route and then wait, may not seem like a lot, but the big thing is supplies. So it should be able to at least spend basically another turn, full turn out there, actually sinking things, compared to starting in Germany and going out. Now, once we get bases on the French coast, we'll be able to. Oh, come on! Just use the arrow key. Yeah, it goes off to my other monitor in this game. Some games it doesn't. So obviously we can. I think in 1 action point we can just get to here on this route, and especially if you want to play hide and seek way out here. It'll be much better to come from France for supply. Usage, okay. Main thing we're waiting on is a lot of divisions coming. Okay, let's look at build, yeah. And production queue. Sorry for coughing so much. Okay. Okay, we're August 2nd, so these are all coming next turn, and maybe even get the escorts. Yeah, maybe. So we're getting a lot of that coming here soon. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, we just really need to stockpile it more. And, well, fortunately, they have been able to stockpile, but still not a whole lot. Okay. we're just dumping so much of our resources into reinforcements and maybe a bit into upgrades here. Yeah, we'll do one attack. Okay. Just yeah, I know it reduces these guys down, but it's more, I think, the earlier campaigns that reduced the most down. But still, we're holding Rouen. I think there's Lille and Paris, and I think that will be enough to get them surrendering for the Vichy surrender. If you want to go for complete and total conquest, you need to keep going and hitting basically most all of mainland France. I have not played that option, but I'm almost pretty sure that they... Okay, yeah, no. We thought about that before, so let's come down to here. Oh. Yeah, I think that'll be good enough. Yeah, undo. We'll keep you on Brussels. Okay, that's just... I'm trying to make sure that they can't retake Paris, no matter what they can try to muster there. Okay, let's end this. No, let's save this just in case I figure I want to do something else. I don't know what it might be. France is willing to negotiate surrender terms. Go to war panel to accept surrender. Yeah, oh, did I forget to do up top? Oh, probably. Or did I? Or was that the turn that I did? I think I did get the railway movement up there. Well, it's been a week since I played this. And I will try to do more. And I would like your comments also, those of you who've made it this far into the game, sort of do matter. Is how much content I should put out there for per day. I think sometimes I'm putting too much. Okay, willing to convince Germany victorious Europe. Germany add force pool, escorts France, move capital to Metz. UK declares war on Italy. UK notices Italy mobilization and declares war. France declares war on Italy. Okay, France's government said, okay, so what we need to do is war panel. France negotiate surrender terms. Okay. So they've surrendered now. So we still have the British here. And it's interesting that that's another thing. Okay, these guys were fairly well set up. I don't know, can we overrun? Let's see what happens. I guess this is... Nope, they just went out to the forced out of port. We didn't capture their fleet. Okay, so no capturing fleet. We have these guys to take out. But first, let's come down here. Okay, deployment. Okay, yeah. Italy. No units. Supply gets worse and worse the further you put out. into the ocean. Italy, fuel 30. We're going to be dealing with that any moment. Okay, you, I think we will convert to infantry division. They can't do anything, and I guess you also. Oh no. Yeah, I guess we're currently garrison set to active. Yeah, we want it to go active. Let's see if we can have an Italian victory this time instead of historical Italian defeat out here. Okay, guys, I want you to come up here. There we go. We'll move the HQ up so that they will help supply and help command that. Okay, so we have a reasonable front line. Don't know what all these are back here. Probably a few things needing to be dealt with. Now, this is not a real problem. It's just something to be solved most efficiently. This is how I see it. I don't think they can, because they're in enemy territory right now, so they'll be out without supplies. Ten to 1. Division shatters, very good. You might as well take that. We've got a headquarters, as we already know, and that's up there. For now, we will use some of our air power here. Oh, you're out of range, are you? Are you? Oh. Okay, well. Yeah. Also bring these guys out. They don't yet see their position as completely hopeless. That's mostly just to block any movement attempts that way. We don't need them to even briefly occupy any important hexes. Okay. Now here. Oh, they're right across there. Let's just do a couple of light strikes, as it were. Just try to reduce their organization even more. There we go. That is sort of what we were looking for. Four to 1, okay. Bomb the HQ. I just sort of go with these two and do it in one go. Because I'm going to see about putting the rest. Oh, you're still outside of that range, are you? Okay. You're not outside of the range. Now you would still have one attack. You would have two attacks. So we'll probably move you up instead. Just trying to make full use of the Luftwaffe. Here we go. They surrender. Very nice, very nice. Okay, yeah. That is functionally a complete destruction of everything they've got there. You come down here. I just don't know if there's going to be a British... Some of these units that are sitting in ports, if they are thinking they're going to try to do a naval invasion. Now here, what we're going to do... Mostly, I'm looking at getting these guys just on a rail line here. And then we'll use the divisions particularly for garrisoning ports and things. Now, yeah. Let's deploy you. Okay, the infantry need to divisions. Okay, we're going to send what? We have a lot of units in France, so they'll be fine in France for now. These guys, they're facing a bigger force that has anti-tank capabilities. Okay. I have to move on to the Port Hex, I believe. So let's... Okay, there's 5 divisions to go north. I'm going to want to move a corps up at least to deal with that British corps up in the north. And that will be a significant thing here. Yeah, here we are. Ooh, there's 2 corps up here now. Oh, leave this. There we go. Yeah, that is obviously a really stupid idea, but just defending, we might be able to defend okay. Might. They're still repairing. We'll leave them where they are. Okay, okay. I want to see about moving you to that port. You to you're in slightly better shape. You to that port. Or the paratroopers. Have fun, some fun and oh yeah, I don't know. No, we're leave them where they are for the moment. Okay. They're not on rails. Okay. Get to rails, get to rails. who here is on rails that we can maybe move now? It hasn't moved. Not much. You, I think maybe, yes. Okay, so this way they'll start next turn here. And yeah, we will start next turn here. Moving up to Norway, because this division may, I just say may, be able to hold out here effectively, but we need to really push in here. Maybe a naval invasion up to Narvik. I don't know whether we'll try to do an airborne drop there. I did consider that. I don't know, or whether we want to use it, you know, get down here to drop into Cyprus or someplace else fast or faster. Huh. Now let's see here. We have an infantry. Supply is a concern, but I think what we'll do here is embark these guys. And I think we can come right down to here without being stopped. And disembarked. Okay. That'll give another infantry corps down here. I think for the moment that'll be enough to hold, but I think it was useful to kill the one British force here. This, the darker desert here is the Quattro Depression and is impassable. I do not think and Alvaro's AI has been at minimum competent. We have seen, and I know he's tweaked it somewhat. I don't know how big. We will see if Russia will defend against Finland better. That was sort of the big point, and I think he did mention garrisoning ports in the Black Sea better. We still haven't seen that one garrisoned here, because we did do that one invasion and took the Crimea. We will see whether it gets better, but it's been pretty good. So I don't think the Italian forces are going to readily be able to bash through this narrow pass here. You know, if we build some more armor and whatnot there, that's a maybe. Okay, we have another slot for Germany. Not that all of this isn't good, but detection electronics, I'm not sure how great that's would help us. I think we'll do some heavy armor. Looking really, see about making some like divisions with tigers in them kind of thing. Convoys we need to look at here. Now, we're going to go from Germany to Italy. The thing that we're going to really send them is oil. Germany's currently is getting 60 oil, mostly from Romania, I believe. I think Italy is or was getting some of it from there, but we're going to give them more. Let's give them 20. We'll give them 1/3 of our oil. Create the trade. Just because we have currently a huge stockpile, and I don't know if did it, and I'm going to go back and look and see in the video to see if this jumped up after the fall of France. I'm going to mention it to Alvaro if it didn't. There was a great series. I have the book, though I haven't been able to find the quote in the book because I haven't read the book. It's the series in the book is called The Prize, and it's about. It was written, I think, in either the late 80s or early 90s, but it's about the 20th century and oil and how oil influences the world. And no blood for oil, people jump, and that's why America invades everywhere. No, it isn't. Now, we invade places because their oil is not because we want the oil. It is because, I don't know, Timbuktu, which is actually a real sort of city way down in here, Africa, there's nothing there. And it doesn't influence the rest of the world, really, because it's just out in the desert. It doesn't really influence the world. But whether you have a commodity or a industry that does influence the world, well, then, yeah, you do sort of have a situation where, let's convert you over to active status, and let's put you on rail lines, and, oh, never mind. You back up to here to Trieste. Now let's put you on rail lines so that we can get ready to attack. Yeah. So oil is a critical element, and this book talks about it as the prize to win for the 20th century. How it drives the 20th century. One of the things they talk about was Germany and oil. According to this, and this is my source, and the source can be wrong or whatever, but Germany captured, there were fairly large oil reserves in France. I mean, Germany was trying to build up oil reserves before the war, but oil reserves in France, a huge amount of oil reserves, because it was afraid of a possible war. And this wasn't just like, a year or two before going to war with Germany. I mean, that may have accelerated it, but it was already doing it. Setting up the oil reserves and bring it into France. Germany captures approximately 1 year of its oil needs when it takes France. So this is mostly in raw oil, that you can, if it's good oil, not oil's good. I had an uncle who was very much involved in the refining business as a chemist. Some oil you get out of the ground needs to be refined a bunch of times to be useful, like as into gasoline. But some particularly light, sweet crude can be pumped straight into a lot of boiler usage for ships. Not the diesel engines in a sub or something like that, but the big sort of, a lot of the main ships at this time are still steam based, but instead of coal furnaces, they're using oil to heat the water and create a steam turbine engine. And that can be pumped straight into the ships. But aircraft, tanks, trucks, oil can also be used in a lot of factories for heating purposes, and homes for heating purposes, though that probably wouldn't be what was being done. So for about the military's use, it was about a year's worth they captured. Not industrially, not civilian use for a year, but military use. And the military, of course, gets in and, gets all this oil and secures it, and make sure it's used for itself. For the Luftwaffe, and the ground forces basically. I don't know how much the Navy got, but presumably some. And obviously lots of it goes to refineries. So it's not immediately ready to be used, but it's the reserves for a year's use. So that extends Germany's active use of oil considerably, which allows them to expand Ploetzi's oil production. That gets expanded during the war. The amount, both oil coming out of the ground and refining capacity is both expanded in Ploetzi, and then of course it's bombed back, and it gets back and forth, as well as Germany's ever increasing synthetic or liquid. It's real oil. It's, or whatever you want to call it. It's liquefying coal to then be turned into gasoline. In Germany is being ramped up. So at the use levels that this is my understanding from remembering what I've read and heard, oil use levels, Germany is getting okay with a lot of it, but towards late war, but the bombing is pushing it back. If the Luftwaffe had been able to control the skies, over Germany, over Ploetzi, and there's oil fields in Germany, there's oil fields in Czechoslovakia, maybe a small field in Hungary or something at the time, I don't know, and then oil fields, as some captured, some not. I think there's a little bit in Ukraine, but however you want to look at that. So it's getting okay use levels if the Luftwaffe had been able to control the sky. Obviously they couldn't, so they didn't, so that didn't happen. All right, well, now let's look at convoy, or trade convoys. Okay, we're looking here. So what we see here is Italian to Caligari. Let's come over here and look at Italy's. Was it just? Yeah, Mediterranean. We have 5 escorts, so let's assign 2 escorts. It's going to use oil, I'm sure. Part of the reason we're pumping it up to there. To escort this, so instead of having a lot of losses, hopefully that will deal with some of the subs basing out of Malta. So we'll do that. It's partially just ignorance on my part. Partially not wanting to overly use fuel is why I'm not dumping them all there. I don't know if I dump more in, how much more effective it would or wouldn't be. Now the thing I don't know. Let's just take those 2 submarines. So I don't know if they would, by sticking them out here, if they would cut the port off. So what we're going to do here is, oh well, before I do that, let's remove, okay, I guess it just, I don't know. We're going to keep, okay, yeah, unselect. Let's move you guys down to here. Not sure that this is a good idea. Not sure at all. Okay, back to building. We've got, well, what is it? 4, 5 occupation divisions. I'm thinking at least 1 for Denmark. And since we already have 1 up here in Norway, 4 more should probably be able to hold Norway. We have 2 more occupation divisions here. and then 2 20 strength corps and a 30 strength corps set up currently as garrison units, which we're going to consider putting onto the ports and whatnot. So with, let's see, 3, 4, 5 more divisions, that may be enough for France. Divisions are obviously cheaper, manpower, supplies, production costs, time. We will be wanting some divisions because we're going to go into Yugoslavia soon. So, but I think we're sort of okay. So let's see. We can't afford that at 42. We've been pushing. We can't afford that either. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to reduce this down for future. We can take a few turns to refill most all of the stuff. Various units, okay. And Italy there. Oil, they have 19 oil. Well, we'll be giving them 20 per turn very soon. Alright. No, we want to march you onto railways so that we can put you as garrisons or whatnot. Make sure some of our ports are properly garrisoned. We should probably build a few more divisions as Italy to do some of that, but not immediately. They're sitting here. Hopefully do a good job there. I'm going to move them next turn. These guys are ready to move, so well, let's send them to the port. We'll take the time, make it last longer. Okay, I think we're going to give them another turn to repair. Species formed, and we can see that there. Very good. That core is toast. They moved up an infantry corps. They've got an armored corps back here. I was expecting one. Okay, Germany dismantles Maginot Line for 50 production points. I don't know how much historically that really happened. Marshal Philippe Pétain negotiates a peace with Germany, forming Vichy France. I really think on the Maginot Line, I do understand that there was not so much dismantling of like the concrete fortifications, but removing of artillery pieces and ammo and other things. But I think it happens over time, primarily as useful for building up the Atlantic Wall. At least that's my understanding, but I'm not like super expert on it. Just again, sort of my understanding. Not saying it's wrong, just saying I don't know that it really happened. So maybe there'll be a free West Wall event later on. I don't know. Okay, and the West Wall, or not? No, sorry, Atlantic Wall. Because oh, God, man, you're probably saying, gamer, you're being stupid. Because it's Maginot Line. I was thinking the West Wall versus the Atlantic Wall. Yeah, no, the West Wall isn't touched at this time. And I do think some of it does get taken down for the Atlantic Wall. But similarly, the Maginot Line, they sort of secure it, I think. I don't really think much of it is, repurposed for German use until, again, building the Atlantic Wall. And the Atlantic Wall really doesn't really become, early on you get, I think in 1941, but early, before the U.S. comes into it. Organization Todt is building some of the big sort of heavy naval gun batteries at Calais to shoot over um, to Dover, or just simply to shoot into the English Channel. Any shipping goes by kind of thing. So they're doing some of that most assuredly before America comes in, but it's really not until 42 and later do they really start gearing up to start building an Atlantic wall, fearing a possible invasion. Not just because they're early on they're putting barbed wire up and machine gun positions up to counter British commando type raids, absolutely. But I'm talking big, the dragon's teeth of the anti-tank trap kind of things all over the things, and millions of landmines being built and put on the beaches and everywhere. That's all being done later, to the best of my knowledge, and it's obviously a ramping up exercise, but it's really only put any sort of priority that is once America is there, because they're not worried about a Dieppe type raid from the British. Not that they don't think it couldn't happen, but so what? Britain lands 30 tanks on the French coast somewhere and does some damage. Well, we'll kill them, kind of thing. And sure that they want the troops that are watching there to be vigilant and do that. It's not like it doesn't matter, but it's not like, oh, we're going to pour huge amounts of resources. See, it's not like for either from propaganda or just Hitler or whoever. Yeah, they might care about whether that's happening, but not care enough to put huge amounts of resources into it. It's not until America is in the war do they start looking at that with a real focus. And this is, again, going back to some of the stuff, and it's been years, and so it's just foggy in my mind, of reading Inside the Third Reich by Albert Speer, who was involved in all that, because he takes over Organization Todt after Todt dies while flying back from sort of an East Front conference with Hitler. So he'd gone out to visit Hitler, and Hitler was sort of a bit more on the, not right on the front lines, of course, but whatever the temporary headquarters he was at. And it's only after that, and so they're already starting to gear up for a little bit, but it's really the U.S. coming in. Okay, Marshal Philippe Pétain negotiates peace, forming Vichy France as part of peace for the majority of the French fleet stays neutral. That's a big, Alvaro looks at that as a big thing for Vichy. A couple of corps were moved to friendly hexes. Syria recognizes Vichy France and joins Vichy. Tunisia, similarly, with the fall of France's trade agreement with Spain, sends 5 production points to Germany to pay off Spanish debt. Italy advances with assault for ground units and interceptors. Germany landing ships times 10 is added to the availability pool. Iraq stops trade with France. Convoy attacks. Okay, South Atlantic convoy group sinking. One group sinks 2 convoys and 2 escorts. Now in the Mediterranean lane, 2 convoys sinking 2 convoys, even though we assigned some escorts to it. I don't know. See, this is this here. Okay. Well, let's save this. We're going to end the episode here. I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Please post questions, comments, suggestions. You got some corrections for some of the stuff I've just been going over. Please post them, or just further detail on some things. I love that. We'll see how this continues. Lots of interesting stuff to look forward to. Battles in Africa coming up once we can redeploy an invasion of Yugoslavia that will probably then push into Greece. This battle in Norway, which is sort of, well, they've pulled back. Now maybe they just figure that they may plan on defending that. That's going to hurt supply in winter. So we've got to push them out. And either with naval landings or something here, because we've just got dirt road for supply up there. So lots of interesting things to come back for to see what happens next. So see you then.